Slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is a type of an equation of a straight line that has slope and y-intercept clearly visible in it. It's one of several forms that we will talk about in subsequent videos. And usually you will be provided with the information about slope, and intercept here means y-intercept. So you'll be given a problem that might look like this. Find the slope-intercept form of a line whose slope is, say, 3 and whose y-intercept is, let's say, 5. Now, if you do not know what slope is, I have a video completely dedicated to slope. You might want to watch that first. There, I have described slope as the ratio of rise to run. So it's rise over run. And what is y-intercept? Y-intercept is a point on the y-axis where the line meets it. So for this particular problem, let's draw the line. So y-intercept of 5 simply means that your line will meet the y-axis 5 units above origin. So on a graph paper, it looks like this. So this is the point through which your line passes. And your line has a slope of 3. So let's draw a line. And what we are trying to find is if you pick any point on the line, say x comma y, every point has 2 coordinates, an x coordinate and a y coordinate. And you got to find the relationship between the x and y coordinates. All right, so this is your origin, and by definition, if the point has coordinates of x comma y, what it means is that the point is x units to the right of the origin, and then the height of the point is y units above the ground or above the x-axis. So this is x and this is y. And I want to know how the x and y are related to each other. I only know one point, 0, 5, but I know that the slope is 3. So if the slope is 3, I want to write 3 as a fraction. So I'm going to write this as 3 over 1 because slope is the ratio of rise to run, which means the numerator is the rise and the denominator is the run. So rise of 3 and run of 1. Now, in this case, what I want to do is I want to start at 0, 5 and go to that point, x comma y, but not along the line. I want to go in the up and down direction first. So I will be going up first and then to the right. And see, this is how I'm traveling. And I need to figure out these distances. So this is my rise and that's my run. So notice this is a rectangle, which means if this distance is x, this is also x. So the run is simply x. But what about the rise? What is this distance from the y-intercept up to this point? Well, the total distance of this point is y, is the total height is y, which means from the origin up to this point, it's going to be y. But my rise is not starting at the origin, it's starting here at 0, 5, so 5 units above. So if the total distance is y, and I know that this distance is 5, if this distance is 5, the rise would have to be the total height minus this. I need from the total height of y, I need to subtract this if I want to know this distance. So this is y minus 5. So for this particular problem, if I'm going from 0, 5 to xy, then the rise is y minus 5. So what is my slope now? Slope is going to be y minus 5 over x. So that is the rise over run. The rise is y minus 5. So let me actually also write here. This is the rise and this is the run. Now, I'm also told that the slope is 3. So this ratio must be equal to 3. So this is the equation that relates the x and y. Y minus 5 over x equals 3. But this equation has a numerator and a denominator. Usually we don't like that. So what we do is we multiply both sides by x and write this as y minus 5 equal to 3x. Now this looks better than the previous equation because it does not have a fraction. Now what's even better is you add 5 on both sides and write this as y equal to 3x plus 5. This looks a lot neater and cleaner, and it has just y by itself on the left. Now that's known as the slope-intercept form. So let's put this in a box and let's go back to our question. Find the slope-intercept form of a line whose slope is 3 and whose y-intercept is 5. And the answer we found was y equal to 3x plus 5. So the slope of 3 can be seen here. The y-intercept of 5 can be seen here. Notice we have not used any special properties of the numbers 3 and 5. So this process would have worked even if these numbers were different. So even if you were given slope of 2 and y-intercept 7, you would have gone through the same process and you would have obtained y equals 2x plus 7 in that case. And it actually works even if one or both of the slope and y-intercept is negative or 0. So in general, what happens if the slope is m and y-intercept is b? Then you write it this way: y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. X and y are the variables. They are part of the equation. But m and b are just numbers. M is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So that's it for the slope-intercept form. And this form specifies the slope and the y-intercept. So slope is the number that comes before x, and the y-intercept is the number by itself. So slope-intercept is the slope-intercept form has the slope and y-intercept. Slope is the coefficient of x, and y-intercept is the constant term. Now this is one of the several forms. The other forms that we'll be talking about in subsequent videos would include slope again, but not this nice special point y-intercept, but it could be any point in the plane. And then we would be deriving an equation. So that does not look as nice as this, and it's called the point slope form. So until that point, I have some practice problems for slope-intercept form. So be sure to practice them. And as usual, the answers are in the video description. So I have two sets of practice problems. In the first set, I'm asking you to find the slope-intercept form given the slope and y-intercept. So you just have to plug your slope and y-intercept into y equals mx plus b. Now in the next set, what I've done is I've given you the slope-intercept form. I have given you the y equals mx plus b, and you have to figure out the slope and y-intercept. Now this is where sometimes you have to be a little bit careful. Usually if you're given an equation like this, y equals 3x minus 5, you won't have much trouble figuring out the slope and y-intercept. But sometimes you're not given a number, but know that if you don't see any coefficient in front of variable, that means the coefficient is 1. And if you don't see the x term at all, that means the coefficient of x is 0. So keep that in mind when you work out these exercises. The answers are in the video description. And that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video, which will be on point slope form, which is related to this, but it's a little bit more involved than slope intercept form. So until then, thank you.